think outside the box why direct democracy could be the future. The fact that more and more citizens are considering voting for the AfD can be explained by a growing dissatisfaction with current politics. Many feel no longer heard and represented by their elected representatives. Increasingly, more Germans seem to think, who believes that representatives truly represent the people also believes that lemon butterflies can fold lemons. This may sound humorous, highlighting the wordplay in German where Falter means both butterfly and someone who folds, but it underscores the deep divide between the expectations of the populace and the reality of representative democracy. In times when trust in established parties is waning, more and more people are seeking alternatives. Both Elon Musk and Alice Weidel advocate for direct democracy, a form of political decision-making where citizens themselves vote on important decisions. Elon Musk, known for his visions at Tesla and SpaceX, sees direct democracy as a way to promote both innovation and well-being for all. In a tweet, he stated, "By the way, I'm actually a socialist, just not the kind that shifts resources from most productive to least productive, pretending to do good while actually causing harm. True socialism seeks greatest good for all."
Stattdessen spricht von einem wahren Sozialismus, der auf das größtmögliche Wohl aller abzielt.
Musk's self-conception as libertarian stands for as much individual freedom as possible and as little authoritarian pressure from above as necessary to ensure security and freedom. Alice Weidel of the AfD, on the other hand, uses the term socialism to distinguish her party from extremist ideologies, which also include Adolf Hitler's National Socialism. Hitler strategically used the term socialism to gain popularity for his exclusively Aryan-limited social programs, while distorting genuine socialist ideals. National Socialism was characterized by pronounced nationalism and racism. The socialism within this movement referred solely to the national community. Moreover, the Nazi regime rigorously persecuted all other movements that called themselves socialist, regardless of whether they actually upheld socialist ideals or, like the Nazis, propagandistically abused the term socialism. Unfortunately, history has shown that terms like socialism were often misused to legitimize authoritarian regimes and to enforce their own power interests. Both the Bolsheviks and the Nazis sullied the term socialism by appropriating it for their anti-human agendas. Given this tension between traditional political spectrums and new visions, the question arises, should we continue to strictly categorize ourselves as left or right? Being libertarian does not automatically mean being right-wing. Libertarian principles emphasize individual freedom and minimal state intervention, but they can also harmonize with socialist ideals like collective responsibility and the common good. It is time to think outside the usual political boxes and not hastily categorize terms like libertarianism or socialism. An inspiring example of direct democracy is Rojava in Northeast Syria, which covers about 27% of Syria's land area. There, direct democracy is indeed practiced, with local assemblies and community decision-making processes. The people in Rojava strive for a more just and solidaristic society. That this concept is not just a theoretical model is demonstrated by Rojava's successful fight against the so-called Islamic State, IS. The USA sees the brave freedom fighters in Rojava as important allies, because they have proven to be particularly effective in the fight against IS. By supporting Rojava, one simultaneously strengthens a society where Muslims, as well as members of other faiths, live together peacefully. Diversity is celebrated there without striving for enforced homogenization, a truly libertarian approach and a great example for the entire world. Why is this relevant for us in Germany? Supporting Rojava could not only help the people on the ground, but also contribute in the long term to alleviating the migration problem. Those who can live in a safe and free homeland are less forced to flee. At the same time, Rojava can show us all how direct democracy works in practice. Therefore, in the short term, it is likely most sensible and efficient to first deploy our resources where they are most urgently needed, rather than dwelling only on distant future visions on Mars. Of course, Elon Musk's dream of a direct democratic colony on the Red Planet is also fascinating. It represents a radical departure from representative systems as they prevail on Earth. Direct democracy requires an active, well-informed citizenry. This could be supported by modern technologies like blockchain and digital platforms to ensure transparency and efficiency. But this is a long-term perspective. Given the urgent problems on Earth, such as the humanitarian crisis in Rojava, it is only reasonable to prioritize and focus our resources and support initially where the immediate need is greatest. It is time to think outside the traditional political box. Terms like socialism or libertarianism should always be understood in their respective historical and cultural contexts. If we handle them unreflectively, they can be instrumentalized, yes, weaponized, to promote certain political agendas or discredit opponents. Only by clearly defining such terms and recognizing their original meanings can we avoid misunderstandings and open up space for a factual debate. I am also against seeing the world in black and white. You don't have to be an AfD fan to still find their demand for direct democracy interesting. Of course, the AfD has aspects that need to be critically examined, just like any other party and any person. Jesus is said to have once said, after being called a good rabbi, "Do not call me good. No one is exclusively good." If AfD politicians actually gain significant influence, it is up to all of us to remind them of their promise to advocate for direct democracy. The stronger direct democracy is implemented, the less any party, also not the AfD, can determine the course. Instead, the German people can decide for themselves what they want, and our democracy will become purer. Let's therefore think outside the box together. Let's support direct democracy and help the people in Rojava, a place where such ideas are already becoming reality and which can serve as a shining example for us. This way, we create well-being for all. Truly for all, and that already very soon, instead of only in the distant future.